Great job making it to part 2 of the technology sales intro course. In this video, you'll come away learning what does a sales development rep actually do. So you'll be able to imagine how you would be spending your time if you do decide to pursue a tech sales career path. Let's get into it. So what does a sales development rep actually do? Think about a sales development rep as somebody that is trying to gain the attention of prospects that may be qualified to benefit or buy from your solution. So what I mean by this is if you're working as a sales development rep, you're most likely calling upon other businesses, B2B. And we'll talk more about that later in this presentation, but you'll be reaching out to these businesses trying to gain the attention of different stakeholders like people in HR, like people in marketing, like people in IT, so that you can help them understand that they may be facing problems today and that you so happen to have a solution that can solve their problems. And most importantly, you're delivering that message in a way that they understand why their problems really matter. You're amplifying their problems. So for example, let's take a director of human resources. They are happy. They're meeting with employees. They're giving out lollipops. Everyone's smiling. But they want to make sure employees keep smiling and that they stay at the company longer. So their problem that they're having is employee attrition, employee turnover. People are starting at the company and leaving, but HR doesn't know why. So I would call you as the director of HR and I'd say, hey, Miss Director of HR, do you have employees leaving your business? And you'd say, why, yes, I do. And I would say, well, what does that mean when your employee leaves the business? Oh, well, it makes me very unhappy. I lose money. We have to try and hire someone new. We retrain them. And then I would say, interesting. Well, I work with other HR leaders just like you to help them keep their employees happy and get them to stay longer. And they'd say, oh, that's really interesting. Can you tell me more? And I'd say, yeah, I'd love to tell you more. Let's set up a meeting. I know I called you out of the blue here today on this cold call. Let's set up a meeting when you're expecting my call. And we'll talk more about what you care about, your world, and allow me to share more about how my solution can help. Let's talk next Tuesday at 2 p.m. That's what you would be doing as a sales development rep. You'll be cold calling, cold emailing, and reaching out to companies to help them understand that their problems are solvable through your solution. And that will help them be more successful. It will help them make more money. It will help their business make more money. It will help their business save money, mitigate risk. So you are in the business as a sales development rep of gaining the attention of prospects and customers who can purchase your solution. So think about this in the context of business problem. So business is losing employees. Business is not getting enough views on YouTube. Business doesn't have enough customers walking in the retail store location to buy the shoes. Businesses have problems. You, as the sales development rep, you have solutions. You have a software solution or a technology platform, something that you can reach out to these companies and say, hey, you have a problem that we can solve. And the reason why this matters is because when these businesses solve these problems, they're able to then better service their customers. So you directly and indirectly are helping deliver better customer outcomes. Think about you as a customer. You want to have a seamless experience working with businesses. If you don't have a good experience, you'll go choose another company to buy shoes from. You'll decide with the click of a button on your phone another company to go work for. Businesses need to deliver great experiences, and the problems are preventing them from doing that. So you help them solve the problems. So it's actually incredibly meaningful because you're doing work that actually impacts the world in a positive way by helping businesses run better. And you also make a lot of money in the process doing it. So that's part of the reason why I got into tech sales. One, because I wanted to change my life for the better and get in an opportunity vehicle that could accelerate my career. But I also like communicating with others, although I'm an introvert, and speaking with these organizations, understanding their problems and helping them be more successful because it makes me feel good. And it also helps me be more successful as well. So take, for example, a customer service team. So a call center. Think about the last time you let's say you got a fraudulent charge on your bank card and you're thinking, man, this is frustrating. I just went out to get some drinks and all of a sudden I got this big charge. Maybe it was me, but I want to go and claim something anyway. So you try and call into the bank and they say, hey, no one's available, call back. Or you try and call into the airline, to change your flight. And then they say, you were on a waiting list and we're going to call you back in 30 minutes, be ready. And then, it's just going to take forever. So these customer service teams, they need to automatically be able to route calls to their customer service reps, you as the customer calling in, so that you can have a better experience. They need to be able to automatically log call notes and just make sure that it's a good experience. So when their frustrated customers call in to get customer support, they're able to service their customers in a timely way. So you as the sales development rep, you happen to sell a customer service, customer support software that helps them automatically route their calls, that helps them automatically record the calls. You use AI to identify notes and where reps are doing well, where reps are not doing well. So you call into that company and you say, hey, you're getting 1,000 calls a day and it takes you 30 minutes to solve them. We can help you solve all these customer problems in 15 minutes. What would that mean to your business? Okay, so you have a problem. Well, we'd be able to save $1 million a year if we could route calls faster. Okay, well, let's set up a meeting to talk about how our customer service solution can help with your problem. And that's as simple as that. You, as the sales rep, you call companies, you help them understand what problems they have, you help them understand that their problems are worth solving and you can solve them via your solution. And that's all you're doing. That is what a sales development rep does. So you may be thinking, well, Trent, I get it, but if these businesses have problems, can't they just figure out solutions on their own? And I'm here to tell you that many of them can't. Most don't know that they have a problem. Most don't know that their problem is big enough to try and solve. They know that they have these problems, but they don't quite know why the problem truly matters. Okay, if we're losing employees, businesses lose employees, but if you have a really high employee attrition rate, turnover, it could be costing your business millions of dollars. Okay, you need to go help them understand that this is in fact a problem worth solving. They oftentimes don't know that a solution exists, and these problems are too complex to just go onto the internet and say, how do I get employees to stay longer? And then there's all these results about, okay, give them more money, more schedule, whatever, but they don't actually know why people are leaving. So these problems are complex enough where you as the sales rep, the sales development rep, you get paid by your tech company to then take that solution, that software to market so that it can be sold, so that your company makes money, and so that you can solve customers' problems so that their businesses are more successful and they make more money as well. So that's the link in why sales development reps are so important.
Do you want to learn about a career where you can make over $60,000 your first year without a degree or without experience? Right now, we literally have 19-year-olds in this career making between $60,000 and $70,000 using our program as a college alternative. The best thing about this career is that you don't need to know how to code, no advanced math, no degree, no previous work experience required. The career I'm talking about is technology sales. We put together a free training teaching you how to break into technology sales within as little as 1 month of completing the training. The training has helped thousands of students use our proven framework to land high-paying tech sales positions. We even have one guy who had been a janitor for 2 years, college dropout, and within as little as 2 months of completing the program, landed a $70,000 a year technology sales position. Imagine what that would mean for you in your life. Click the link below to start your free training now.
And as we continue forward, there's infinite problems to solve. So take, for example, a warehouse as well. Warehouses need to run inventory. They need to manage when they're shipping out product. They need to know who they're shipping product to. They need to know what folks are supposed to be in the warehouse today. They need to understand freight claims. They need to be able to take customer returns. So think about a warehouse example. Imagine Costco. Costco's got all of these pallets of products. They're getting fresh produce shipped in from all different parts of the country and the world, as a matter of fact. So how do they keep everything in order? Imagine just logistically how challenging that is. There's just so many different problems they could be facing. So they have loads of different solutions and softwares. I bet Costco spends tens of millions of dollars a year on softwares, if not probably way more than that, because they have so many problems. And you as the sales development rep, you have the opportunity to go solve these problems, which in return will, of course, help you and allow you to make an impact and truly help that business. And tech sales will solve any problems that you're having in your life. And this story, I recently saw it come across in one of our newsletters, and I went and watched the video. Really would encourage you to go watch the video. Just go on the homepage and you can click resources and student success stories. There is a husband and wife combo, and they were worried about money and wanted more. They had a child, and the wife stayed at home, took care of the children. The husband was selling cars, so it wasn't a sales job, but it was kind of tough to show up to the lot every day, stand up all day, deal with customers, and have that stigma of, oh, I sell cars. So they always wanted more. They didn't want to have to worry about money. They wanted more stability. So they found tech sales. And what's super unique about their story is that they both decided that they wanted to do it together. Both the husband and wife, they both wanted to start working, and they completed course careers. They both were placed in tech positions. The husband now works for Intuit, and they're combined making over $160,000 a year. So what I think is super unique about this is the opportunity tech sales presents is not just for the 18-year-old, hey, I don't want to go to college, I'm just going to pursue whatever, let's get in tech sales or another path, but it's also for folks of all ages and all backgrounds. They can pursue tech sales, and these companies want to hire you because of all of these problems that need to be solved that the solutions can ultimately solve. So imagine what that would be like to then, with your partner, you have a child, you create more economic certainty so you do not have to worry about money. And the reason why, they talk about it in the video, and they do a better job explaining it than I do. I was just able to observe their story and talk about some of the points that really struck a nerve with me, is they started realizing that every day they didn't take action and didn't actually get in this right opportunity vehicle where they were able to get paid more, it was costing them money. Every day they waited. And that was one of the key factors for them to say, you know what, let's both do this. Let's both pursue it. And now the husband's into it, and it's just an incredible outcome. They actually have a YouTube channel themselves, so you'll be able to find it in the student success stories. You could also search Tech Journey. Really great stuff. Another way to think about what a sales development rep does is you're similar to a doctor. Doctors have esteem in society. You think about doctor, medical, saving lives, healing, really important work. You as a sales rep in tech sales, you're basically like a doctor because you're using your communication skills to understand the customer's problem so that you can then diagnose and prescribe a solution. If you go to your doctor's office and you say, hey, doctor, my knee hurts, and they just try and prescribe, okay, well, you need this medicine that will help with your shoulder. And you'll say, doctor, you didn't even listen to me. You as the sales rep, you go to customers trying to diagnose and understand their problems so that you can then prescribe a solution. It's very similar. You're listening, you're trying to understand, okay, tell me more about your knee. Okay, well, it hurts on the back right here. Okay, well, I recommend that we actually get you this knee brace. It's going to give you more stability. Oh, doctor, that's exactly what I need. Same thing in sales, understanding customers' problems and then prescribing a solution. There's different types of sales. There's B2C versus B2B. B2C is business to consumer. So imagine Netflix. Netflix sells you, the consumer, a monthly subscription, $10 a month to access their content library. That's B2C. Meanwhile, B2B, imagine Salesforce. Salesforce sells a CRM software, customer relationship management. It's actually something you as the sales development rep will be using each and every day. Salesforce calls other businesses who have sales development reps and say, hey, we've got this software. It's going to help your reps be more efficient. So they sell to other businesses. Next, you have inside or outside sales. Inside sales, basically working in an office, working remote. Outside sales, you're in the field. You're actually visiting customer locations in person. Inbound versus outbound sales. As a sales development rep, you could potentially be both inbound or outbound, or just inbound for a period of your career versus just outbound. Inbound is basically you're speaking with warm leads folks who request demos, folks who visit your website and say, I want to be contacted. Outbound is what my experience is in. This is you're basically doing cold outreach. You are going outbound out of your way to cold call on companies that are not expecting your call to try and set up meetings with them. And then finally, different industries. So typically, most of you will work in tech sales, and then you can then sell into different industries. I personally sell into legal firms, banks, financial services, quick service restaurants, insurance. So I sell into all industries. So you could potentially sell into all industries. In different industries other than just tech, also hire sales development reps. So it's unique, and there's a lot of opportunity with that. So let's talk about specifically what is sales development. Sales development, aka SDR, BDR, business development rep, it's all the same thing. You'll see tech sales, software sales, virtually all the same thing in the same category. You're primarily B2B, so you're selling to other businesses. You are, for the most part, inside sales. Earlier in your career, the first 4 to 6 years, you'll be inside sales, and that's what I am. It's just more cost effective for organizations because there's no need to have you actually go in the field and speak with customers, go meet with 3 a day when you could be sitting at your home and call on 50 customers on one day. So inside sales just basically means you will not be doing a lot of traveling. But when you promote and move up higher in your career, like an enterprise account executive, which we talked about in Why Sales Development, $250K a year, you typically will be traveling a little bit because the sales cycles, the sales prices are much bigger, more complex. So it's easier if you go in person to make the sale. And then you could be inbound, you could be outbound, basically warm leads versus cold leads. And it's a little bit easier when you're calling on warm leads because they're expecting you to call. And you'll typically be working in the tech industry, and specifically SaaS. SaaS stands for Software as a Service. What you'll actually be doing day to day and spending your time is a combination of these 3 activities: research, outreach, and discovery. Research is basically identifying who is your ideal customer profile. So who are the types of companies that would be a good fit for your solution? Are you a super niche software? Are you just calling on dentist offices? Or do you have a broad customer profile where you call on all industries and all different types of companies like I do? So you'll be identifying the companies that can benefit from your solution. You'll then identify the buyer personas within those companies. So who are the titles, the roles, the positions, the people that are in roles that have problems that you can solve. So for example, maybe you just sell to one department, you just sell to human resource folks. So you'll go look at all the companies that you could sell to, companies that, let's say, make more than 100 million in revenue, that are just banks. So you'll then go find all of the human resource people at those banks. And then that takes you into the next step, which is outreach. This is how you'll be spending most of your time. This is cold calling, cold emailing, getting in the trenches, sending LinkedIn notes, doing whatever it takes to set up meetings. That's how success is measured as a sales development rep. You set up meetings, and then ideally you're able to qualify those meetings into what we call qualified opportunities or pipeline. And that's where the discovery comes into play. You as the sales development rep, depending on the company you work for, you may need to do some discovery, or you as the sales development rep will set up a meeting and bring in your account executive, someone like myself, to then run the meeting and do discovery, which is basically just asking questions about, hey, tell me about your situation today. Asking questions about the problem. Well, what problems are you facing? Asking implication questions. Well, it sounds like you're losing money when employees leave. Why does that matter? And the needs payoff questions. What would that mean if we can get employees to stay longer? So discovery, asking questions, all of your time will be spent on finding prospects to call, calling them, and then qualifying them, and then repeating. So you'll be doing a lot of communication, and you don't need to be super technical to do it, which is what I like. So I like to just sit back and listen to music, listen to podcasts, go find some prospects, and then I'll call some prospects, work on my communication a little bit, and then set up some meetings and make some money and call it a day.
Are you looking for a high-paying career that allows you to use your communication skills while also offering endless opportunity for growth and advancement? If so, a career in tech sales might be the perfect fit for you. In tech sales, the average starting salary is $60,000 year one, and you don't need a degree or any experience to get started. Many tech sales professionals like myself enjoy lucrative salaries, flexible work schedules, and even the opportunity to work fully remote. Plus, as the technology industry continues to grow and evolve, the demand for skilled tech sales professionals will increase, providing you a stable and rewarding career path. So if you're ready to join a dynamic and exciting industry, we put together a free tech sales intro course training talking about why tech sales might be the perfect career path for you, what you would actually be doing, and how to get started. Visit coursecareers.com or the first link in the description below to learn more.
How are sales development reps measured? So you will get paid based on your performance. So it's important to recognize that there will be a bit of pressure, and it's not just a job where you show up, crunch some numbers, and leave. You are expected to produce a result, and that's why it is so lucrative and has such great upside, and especially why folks with no degree or experience, you don't need any credentials or pedigree or last name to come in and be successful. If you can come in, make enough calls, set up enough meetings, qualify those meetings, you will be viewed as the superstar, the rock star in your office. And oftentimes some of the best reps I know come from those non-traditional backgrounds where maybe they were doing sales that was non-tech and they decided, hey, I want to get into tech sales because I'm just thinking, what would it mean to then have more money because I'm in a higher paying industry? And that's what tech sales presents, as the stability where you can get paid just based on your performance. And there's always a job for you to have because the industry is only growing and more jobs are posted every day. So you're measured based on setting up meetings, making calls, and basically just your activities, your volume. That's why they say sales is a number game. What I like about tech sales especially is many companies adopt these hybrid work models or fully remote, meaning you don't always have to go into the office. You can work remote. And I think that that's what's really nice about it. Imagine the Wolf of Wall Street. They've got these offices, all these kind of sleazy sales guys just making all the calls. You hear all the ringing. That's not necessarily how environments are, because everyone's on their computer. Some people are on the phone, some people are not on the phone. They typically are pretty energetic. My office, for example, is all salespeople. So when you're in an office full of salespeople, it's a much different culture than an office of just IT people that are sitting in the cubicles, headphones on, not wanting to talk to anyone. Salespeople, I'm an introvert, and so I like that balance of when I'm in the office, I'm able to go out of my way, be a little bit more outgoing. And then when I get back to my home at the end of the day, or if I work remote, I can just focus on myself and just keep things quiet. And there's definitely ups and downs. So when I first started, it was challenging because I had never done it before. I never did sales. I never had an internship. I had no experience. I never had anyone back then telling me, Trent, this is what you should be doing. I completely lucked my way into tech sales. And now that I've gotten into it, I don't have to worry about money. And it's provided such great opportunity for me that my mission is to now help other people recognize and transform their lives like I did. But the reality is, not every day is easy. You face rejection, you face performance quotas, and there is pressure. Your back's against the wall. I think it's important for me to have that because it forces me to get better. So it's important to ask yourself, is that what you want? And they like to say, if you don't risk it, then you basically, in order to really make it, you need to risk something. And in sales, that's what you're doing, is you're risking falling up short to recognize glory and really make a lot of money in the process and get recognition, which is what I like. Think about a day in the life. What I like is you don't need to, I never have to clock in. It's not hourly. I get paid a salary. They basically say, work when you want, show up whenever you want, just get the job done. So an example is show up at 8, get your coffee, you then respond to some emails, you research some new companies to reach out to, you make some phone calls, take some lunch, and then repeat that process. Find more people to call, do more calls. Maybe you have a little internal meeting, and then you wrap your day up. Your day is basically structured around what we talked about: research, outreach, and discovery. That's how you'll be spending your day as a sales development rep. It's beautifully simple. and it's structured in a way where you know what to expect. It's just a matter of showing up and doing it to the best of your ability, and you get better over time. I was able to promote from a sales development rep to a senior account executive, and these are 3 tips that it took me a lot of time to learn, but I'm hoping that you can adopt and immediately apply them. You want to seek out advice, regardless of the career path you go into. Seek out advice from other people who have been there, done that. So if you're listening to someone on what career to pursue that hasn't actually done it, ask yourself, why? I've been there. I've done that. I've been in the trenches. And in order for me to get to the point I am today, I needed to learn from other reps. So I set up time with folks at my company who have proven track records. And they said, Trent, this is exactly what you do. This is how I overcome objections. Follow my lead and it will work. And that's exactly how I got better. And you can do the same once you get started. Reach out to folks who have been there and done that. And that's what's so great about the Course Careers course is we pair you with groups of students in a similar position to you and have real-time coaching so that you get help each step of the way in tandem to best-in-class content and practices, so you know everything you need to know to then show up to interviews to say, hey, well, I've never done it, but I've learned everything I need to know, and this is what I've learned. And then these employers are like, oh my gosh, you are more qualified than somebody who is actually coming from a degree background or who's done sales in a different path. It's incredible when you learn from people who have actually been there and done that. I like to say win the day. It's something I learned in my sales development org is show up and ask yourself, well, what does a win in the day look like? How many calls do I need to make? How many emails do I need to send? What does it take for me to hit my numbers? And you do that each and every day. And throughout the course, it structures it in a way where it's very manageable for you to then work through the course material at your own rate. And then, of course, save, come back, which is really nice. And then finally, ignore the noise and play the long game. There's a lot of different options for you out there. There's a lot of people telling you what you should think, what you should do. And I recommend just ignoring all the noise and play the long game. Where do you want to be a year, 3 year, 5 years from now? And then how will tech sales or even another opportunity help you get there? So if you're thinking you want to get ahead in life, if you want more, if you want to not have to worry about money, if you want more stability, then go listen to some of the student stories about all the testimonials of folks that may come from a similar background to you with no degree, no experience. Go figure out some of the challenges and the problems they had in their own life similar to you, of maybe not feeling like you get the recognition that you deserve or that you're actually making an impact in the world. A lot of these folks talk about these things and then how tech sales was able to completely 180 their life around so that they were in a position where they felt a lot more confident. They were able to attract more in their life. So I encourage you to go watch some of those success stories. And of course, if you've enjoyed what you've listened to here today, I encourage you to click on to section number 3, part 3, which is how to actually get your career started as a sales development rep. I'll see you there.